Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. So, Yankees won last night, huh? 2-1. I'll take that. The series is tied at 1. We'll see if they win the series today. But um, that talking point of if they lose all 6 going into the All-Star break is completely invalid now. So that's a good thing. And I'll take, honestly, I will take whatever the Yankees can give us at this point, right? Shout out to everybody in the chat. Jack, Jonathan, what's going on, my man? What's going on, gentlemen? And again, so Chris Kirshner, Jim Bowden, and Brandon Cuddy from The Athletic put forward 6 trade proposals that they're pretty interesting. And some of them are bits and pieces of what we've already talked about, but I want to go over them with all of you. I have them on slides here, so I'm going to put them up one at a time, and we'll go over them, all right? So if you haven't subbed to this channel, make sure you hit the sub button because we're going to keep going over. There's going to be a lot more stuff coming out in the next 3 weeks before the trade deadline on July 30th. So whatever comes out, we're going to put it out for you, all right? And obviously, when the Yankees make a move, they made a move yesterday. Jim Laza added to the lefty to the bullpen. Not a sexy move. This is a margin move. But these are the types of moves that Brian Cashman makes before or while they're trying to prepare for bigger moves. So, Jefferson, what's happening? So, again, we're going to continue to put out this stuff. And these are the types of things that, it keeps folks engaged, right? Because at the end of the day, we're Yankee fans, but we're also frustrated right now. But with the play that they've been having over the last 20 plus games, and we need to get through this. And any type of stuff that would help them navigate through it, I want to participate in. So, Matt, what's happening? What is another one? Yeah, damn right, is a winning streak. Hopefully, they'll win today. Mike, what's happening? Yeah, the family's good, man. You see, I got the backdrop here in the base right now. We're adding 10 rooms to my house, so there's a lot of work going on. And I'm building a company in the background too, so there's a lot of stuff. So we're busy, Mike, but I hope you're doing well too. How about you? Mazza, my man. Okay, what's happening? Fritz, shout out to all of you. So let's go over a couple of these trades, okay? And we'll go over one at a time, all right? Trade 1, I'm going to put them up on the screen here. Trade 1 is trade proposal 1. The Yankees would get Alex Bregman from the Astros. The Astros would get Will Warren and Clayton Beeter. I know we understand Beeter might miss the season, so Will Warren will be the bigger piece. They might have to swap a piece out. But this is trade proposal 1 from The Athletic, okay? Now, we talked about this too. Bregman's not my first choice, but there's a couple things about him. He is a free agent at the end of the year, so he would not cost the top prospects, but at the end of the time, and he's also ice cold in the playoffs. He is playoff clutch, so got to give him that. So that's trade proposal 1. Okay, and you let me know what you folks think about this trade proposal. And again, Bregman's not my first pick. All right. Hey, McMahon, what's happening? Yeah, I see. I totally get it, Mazza. I'm gonna pass on Bregman too. There's another trade in here for third base that I'm much more interested in. So I'm looking forward to it too, Mike. I'm hoping that the Yankees put forth another victory. And before we go any further to the rest of the trade proposals, who's pitching tonight? Let's pull it up here now. They play at 6:50. It is going to be Nestor Cortez versus Shane Baz. That's the matchup tonight. That's the matchup. Exactly, it's a character thing, and the Yankees are trying to build good chemistry, right? Anything or anyone that would interrupt that is a no for me. And like I said before, I don't even know if Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole would sign off on this. I think it's important to have your top brass on the team, be okay with these types of trades, right? So I don't think they would do that. Winning is one thing, character is another, right? So, but back to it. Here's trade proposal 2, okay? Trade proposal 2, this guy we've been talking about a lot, Jazz Chisholm. So he would be coming to the Yankees in exchange for Nestor Cortez, Brock Selvage, and Roderick Arias, okay? This is an interesting one too, okay? I'm much more willing to trade Roderick Arias than I am Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones. Roderick Arias also is one of the Yankees' deep line of prospects at shortstop, but his contact rates have not, improved significantly. So he's a guy at this point that I'm more willing to include in the trade for somebody like Jazz Chisholm. Chisholm himself, okay, he's either +6 or +7 defensive run save. So I would put him at second base. He would be a clear upgrade defensively at second over anybody that we have, particularly Gleyber Torres, right? But he would also bring speed and a combination of power. And he's a lefty bat, and maybe he'll be able to feast on the left field porch better than a guy like Alex Verdugo's been doing. So, and he's also a guy that you could probably put at leadoff. It would set the table for the rest of the guys beneath, under him in the lineup. So, yeah, I would consider trading Cortez in the right deal too, Jonathan. Most definitely. Well, I mean, they could bring up Spencer Jones to DH, but in two things. I think Stanton's not far from coming back, and two, I think Spencer Jones could use a little bit of time in AAA first, get that last stage of adaptability before coming up here. But you never know what can happen. You never know what's going to happen. So Chisholm is a guy I would definitely be interested in. Now, could you elaborate on the trade? Could you add to the Chisholm trade? We'll get into that too. So, right now, let's go back to these trades. Trade proposal 3 with the Rockies. They would get third. Here's the third baseman I'm looking for, Ryan McMahon. Okay, and this proposal that they made, the Rockies would get Will Warren and Brandon Maya. I have a feeling it's going to cost more than that to get a Ryan McMahon from the Yankees. He's got, I think, 3 more years left on his deal. He's a lefty. He's a guy that would fit him perfectly, probably at the number 4 spot, in between Judge and most likely Stanton. We need, I think, a contact bat who can hit with power at the 4 spot. So that would make it harder for these guys to pitch around Juan Soto, which they're doing right now, and make it easier, harder for them to pitch around Judge. Okay, they've been getting Judge out, but they've also been pitching around him, knowing that in situations pitching around him, knowing that the guys behind him are not going to really drive him in right now. And once Stanton gets healthy and he starts hitting again, you plug in the right guy at the 4 spot, then it's going to lengthen this lineup and make it really, really difficult to navigate. So that's what it was early in the season, right? When these guys were healthy, they were hitting really well. When Stanton was healthy, he was punishing pitchers, either with 3-run home runs or hits and so on and so forth. So, and we're missing Stanton's production right now. Even though he gets hurt a lot, yeah, sure, but we are missing his production. But you're right, first they need clutch bats. Like Jazz Chisholm will provide a spark that we don't really have right now, that we're not getting, and would make it easier to move Volpe down the lineup to the middle, of maybe the 6th spot or something like that, which he could probably be more valuable at. I mean, he's providing more value at the bottom of the lineup, but the bottom half of the lineup than he is the leadoff spot. I think it's easier to put Rice at the leadoff spot right now. Ben Rice, he's got the hotter bat. He's more consistent. I would rather give him more bats. Okay, so McMahon, I would definitely make that deal. I have a feeling it would cost more, but I would definitely make that deal for Ryan McMahon. All right, now, yeah, absolutely. May he be a third baseman? Could you make a trade for Chisholm for second and McMahon for third? That's 2 different trades, but my God, that trade would be insane. Absolutely insane. All right. Trade number 4. Okay. Oh, let me get this out of here first so that everybody can see it. Here we go. Trade number 4. The Yankees would receive Marlins reliever Tanner Scott. He's the guy I would love to add, him or Andrew Nardi. I would love to add to a Jazz Chisholm trade. So here you'd be giving them Oswald Peraza and Oswaldo Cabrera for Scott alone, right? I don't know what you'd have to add for him and Chisholm, but it would be substantial. Okay. And, Marlon, I mean, I would not hesitate to give them, at this point, Jose Trevino or somebody like Carlos Narvaez. They need catching. Marlins. We have a lot of catching, right? So that's where I would plug one of these guys. And I would even give them both catchers, Trevino and Narvaez, right? So they could have Trevino for now and then phase into Narvaez. And we're still not interrupted at all because we'd have Austin Wells, we'd have Augustin Ramirez, we'd have other guys here. We have lots of other catching depth. So to me, that would represent the logical trade. If you can keep Peraza and use him in a different trade or something like that, or play the guy, it makes more sense. The Devastators here. What's happening? Mitch, what's good? Trevino and Peraza, Mitch, sign me up for that. Sign me up for that, baby. All right? That, to me, is a sensible trade. Now, trade proposal 5. The Yankees would get right-handed starting pitcher Jack Flaherty from the Detroit Tigers in exchange for Everson Pereira, Oswald Peraza, and Clayton Beeter. I know. You could be asking, well, Pereira's hurt. He's missing the whole year. Beeter's likely going to be hurt. He's missing the whole year. These are more likely, in my opinion, I'm thinking they put these guys in the trade because they're building blocks long-term. You got 6 controllable years for both of them. So once they come back, you'll still have that length, okay? Peraza in there, you have somebody who can play right away, right? So that's why I think, and again, I would ask Brandon Cuddy, Chris Kushner, and Chris Kirshner, and why they made, why they put these particular guys in the trade. These are their trade proposals. This is right from the Athletic, okay? And again, I'm going to pull it up here. Yeah, it's Jim Bowden, Chris Kirshner, Brandon Cuddy. Okay. So that's trade proposal 5. And lastly, trade proposal 6 is with the Angels. Yankees would get infielder Luis Rengifo and Carlos Estevez, power reliever in the bullpen, in exchange for Everson Pereira, again, a building block who's missing in the air, and Ian Hamilton, power arm in the bullpen. Okay. Ian Hamilton comes with, I think he's got 4 more controllable years left. Estevez not have that many. So obviously, the big piece there would be Hamilton at this point. Everson Pereira, once he's back, you give him an outfielder too. So, but Rengifo could bring value here, whether he plays second or third. I think he's better at profiling defensively at second. So if you don't get a Chisholm for second, but you do get McMahon for third, maybe you can get Rengifo for second. He profiles better defensively, and he's not as a good defender at second as Chisholm is, right? But he's a better defender. He's a better defender at second than he is at third. So depending on who you would want, the fact of the matter is this is a multi-player fix that the Yankees need to address. There isn't one particular person here that would change their entire fortunes for the Yankees, but any combination of Chisholm and McMahon, Rengifo and McMahon, and you get a couple of relievers, it's a whole different look to the team. You know, I would still be looking at Tarek Skubal if you could. I don't know if he would be available, but he's a guy I would give a lot for. Even Nathan Eovaldi, we talked about him the other day from Texas if they become sellers, right? He doesn't walk a lot of people, and he's clutch in the postseason. He's ice and is playing the playoffs now. He showed with Texas. He showed it with Boston. We need somebody at the top because I don't feel confident that Carlos Rodon, who should be the hands down number 2, is performing like a hands down number 2, right? We need somebody behind Cole and number 2 that's consistent and we can believe in, right? Trade proposal 3 needs to happen. At least that defensive reinforcement needs to. Yeah, yes, for a tech, yeah. The Yankees need to get better offensively and defensively in the infield. There's no doubt about it, right? There's no doubt about it. Okay, dynamic spark plug, according to me, like Mazza, this is where Jazz Chisholm will come into play. He's also a positive, a positive character and an attitude in the clubhouse. So he would bring infectious, positive energy, which the Yankees could use too. They've been looking defeated a lot recently, and we need to get past that, right? So bringing somebody that would bring that, and as well as some production, he'd be surrounded by a much better lineup here with Yankees than he is in Marlins in Miami. So, Chisholm to me is a guy, and it's all but confirmed that Chisholm's going to get moved. To where, we don't know. But I'd rather him come to the Yankees than go to a team that's going to punish us, right? So, so you like trade 1 all day? Yeah. I mean, some of these trades are pretty good. Pretty darn good. So, Ezekiel Duran, another one, Mazzy. Yeah, Duran will be a piece. Duran, he's got speed. He's very hard to double up. Okay, he could be a guy that, and we talked about that before, like maybe moving Oswaldo Cabrera to Texas and getting Ezekiel Duran. That would represent a different fit for the Yankees. And we bring him back, and we traded him for Joey Gallo. That was a nightmare. I'll have to get him back. I'll have to get Ezekiel Duran back. Stephen B, Euro Yank. Ken Mizrahi. What's happened, my man? Right? This is, it's right for it's McMahon to me represents the impact bat. The contact bat represents and a building block for third base, right? Because if let's just say they move Roderick Garris in a trade, but they still have George Lombard here. Lombard could be the third base replacement to McMahon after he's a free agent. Lombard is, what is he, 19 right now? By the time McMahon's a free agent, Lombard would be 22. It would be a logical replacement if they don't keep McMahon for longer than that. So to me, it's a logical move that I hope that they make. I know they're talking about Elias Diaz and so on, but if I'm going to put a lot of prospects in a trade, it's going to be for somebody who I want to be here for a couple of years, right? And that's going to have, I think, show an impact here. And I think Ryan McMahon could be that impact player here. And again, we need to go back to lengthening this lineup again, making it harder for pitchers to pitch around our guys, our top guys, right? So, Josh Smith, yeah. Smith, who's Smith, Rob? Who are you talking about? And which Smith are you talking about, Rob? Smith from Texas? Who do they have over there? Josh Smith? Is it Josh Smith? Yeah. But again, but we don't like what we're hearing. What I'm hearing is Texas is likely going to turn to sellers. I'm hearing now that the Nationals might likely convert to sellers too. So, and that gives you another potential opportunity to try to get a reliever. Kyle Finnegan, who's their closer there, is another arm that the Yankees should, at the very least, investigate pursuing. Right. So, I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, Fritz, if you got one of McMahon or Chisholm, that would be an improvement. If you got both, it would be huge. Now, are the Yankees willing? And I'm hearing that they're going to be aggressive at the trade deadline. And Cashman said yesterday they're very open minded to a lot of things. Well, are you open minded enough to give the prospect capital it would take to get a Chisholm and a McMahon? Your lineup would completely change, right? You could lead off Chisholm and put McMahon at fourth and move Volpe down, right? Move Verdugo down, right? And it also gives you an opportunity to move Torres if you can move him for international money or whatever, right? It also gives you an opportunity to sit DJ and have him play a more of a bench and utility role at this point, right? Or he can even, he can be one of the players to help cover at first base and so on and so forth. So these to me are reasonable trades. And I'm surprised that the McMahon one costs less than some of the other trades. I am surprised. But what do you think? What do you think, Kang? Why, Mitch? Why are you not loving Chisholm? His metrics scream he would be an upgrade over Torres at second, an upgrade over DJ at second too. They really do. So while Blake Snell, I would forget about Blake Snell. I'm with you there. So, yeah, John. But I mean, Matt Chapman might become available from the Giants for all you know, right? So we don't know. He's got an opt out after this year too. So if he wants to opt out and cash in, he's another guy that the Yankees could pursue. But McMahon is my absolute first choice at third base if they can pry him away from the Rockies. You know, that's the key. Can they do it? I have no idea. No idea. But crazy things have happened at the trade deadline, right? And this is the opportunity for Cashman to really, you know, be as good as a trade deadline he is in the offseason. So we need that. And Yankee fans need, like I said, they need to be encouraged. They need to be reassured. They need to be motivated, and potentially all three of them right now. We need to know that they're willing to make these moves, especially since Juan Soto's here, right? Do you want to win the World Series? Well, you have to make several moves to do that. There's not one player there's no one bat that's gonna help their bullpen. There's no one reliever that's gonna help their offense. So it's gotta be a multi-layered effect here, right? So, but I mean, Jazz Chisholm makes all the sense in the world for the Yankees. He really, really do. He really does, right? Uh Guy, what's happening? I don't know. I mean, that guy. These are the. I put forth six trade proposals from the guys from the Athletic, and for some reason, McMahon, their trade costs less than some of the other trades. I don't know why. I think he would cost more. So if you can get McMahon for that, then go right ahead. I don't. I can't see it happening. But at the end of the day, McMahon is a guy to pursue here for the Yankees. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So I'm gonna pass on Urshela at this point. We have to do better than Urshela. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, they won last night 2-1. They small balled their way to victory last night. So that's great. And again, they showed last weekend that they could win with a high scoring game with Ben Rice's 3 home run game. They showed they could win small ball, but we need them to do this consistently, not just once in a while. We need them just like they went the first to 50 wins. They were winning all different types of ways, right? We need to show them they can do that again. And part of that is with Giancarlo Stanton coming back healthy and being productive again. Part of that was John Birdie coming back and bringing a dynamic that we don't have. Because you could essentially, you could do a lot of things here. You could play John Birdie at third if you don't get a third baseman and play Chisholm at second. You could play John Birdie at second if you get McMahon. Like if you don't get Chisholm, like this Birdie's versatility is a valuable asset for the Yankees to have. We need him to come back healthy, right? And again, this would also make our bench better. Having DJ on the bench is better than having JD Davis on the bench. DJ, his bat is, he's actually has a higher batting average in July than the rest of the team has. The rest of the players have. So it's kind of nuts, but it's true. His bat's going from terrible to, you know, mediocre at this point, right? So, but if there's any way they can get McMahon and either Rengifo or Jazz Chisholm, that would change the whole lineup. I do think it's possible, but again, it's gonna hurt and it's gonna have to hurt, right? But that's why the farm's so deep, right? You have some guys, and to me, like I'll say this again, Roderick Arias is not an untouchable for me anymore. I talked about a shortstop the other day that's outperforming him too at a lower level. So Dominguez is probably Jones is my only one absolute untouchable. Dominguez is close to it, but there's maybe two players that I would move him for. Right? You'd have to get a massive return though, a massive return. So, what if Rockies want Jones from McMahon? Then I pass on it. Then I'll go for Rengifo. I mean, can't blame him for asking for it. I would potentially. I mean, I would give him Roderick Harris. I would even consider Dominguez and send him to the Rockies, not Jones. Yeah. I would not send Dominguez if I was going to trade him to an American League team. I do not want him punishing the Yankees and on a regular basis. No way. No way do I want him doing that. Yeah. And Durant for Cabrera straight up, I don't know. I mean, he was optioned, right? Cabrera, Durant, so maybe. Maybe. So we'll see what they do. Bo Bichette. Well, number one, I'm not sure the Blue Jays would do that to trade him to a division rival. And where would we play Bichette? Second base. I mean, he would be upgraded second, no doubt. I mean, and if you were able to get him somehow, second base is probably the spot I would play him at. But I don't know that they would do that. Send him to the Yankees. I'd be surprised. Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised. I could see him going to a team like the Dodgers or the Padres or something like that. Yeah. Dodgers, I think they need a shortstop right now. And when Mookie Betts comes back, he's going to play. I think he's going to go back to the right field, or right back to the outfield. So we'll see. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't see Vlad coming, and I feel almost the same way about Bichette. I can't see Bichette. I'd be surprised if Bichette came. I would be. So yeah, Andres Chaparro, Mitch. Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, Ken, what do you know, man? Andres Chaparro would have been a good fit here at third base. I mean, he was defensively in, pretty challenged, but they could have worked with him on that. And he's got a pretty big bat. So he's with the Diamondbacks now. So yeah. But the McMahon trade, that one's got to be at the top of their to-do list, right? So, um, who's Dom guy? You talking about Dom Smith from the Red Sox? Frank Shorter, Spencer Jones. I mean, to me, it's untouchable. And Mazza, the Cabrera Durant chain. It seems to be the easiest one that they can make, right? I think the Yankees get two bullpen arms. Yes, I do, Brendan. I don't know who, but I think they get two. I don't know if it's going to be Scott and Nardi, but I think one of them will have controllable years, and one of them will not have controllable years. Like Scott doesn't have controllable years, Nardi does. So, right? Guy Dominguez is close to untouchable, but even the Yankees said the other day for Garrett Crochet, the only untouchable is Spencer Jones. But to me, I would have a hard time trading Dominguez to an American League team. Honestly, I would have a hard time. Yeah, for Mazzy, yeah. If you got Scott, Nardi, and Ches, I mean that would be the package would hurt, but I mean you're addressing two positions there in one trade, and that's what I'm talking. Like if you did that trade and you could somehow pull off a McMahon trade, Oh my god, like crazy, crazy. But I have a feeling they're quietly looking to acquire a starting pitcher too. I know they've got JT Brubaker coming back and so on. He's building his innings in rehab. So, but like, I think they're gonna. I mean, we have Clark Schmidt coming back too. So it's. I have a feeling they're looking to get somebody, as a win now move. So yeah, I mean, he's a guy that can be logically pushed to the bullpen at this point. He's got a Mason Miller arm. We don't want him to have a Mason Miller injury profile either. So, and Bull, I mean, he's coming off Tommy John Hill. He's pitching. He pitched better last time. He had better command of his pitches, but I want to protect him at the same. I want to protect him too. So I'm looking forward to Clark Schmidt coming back and having a relatively fresh arm. So why are you not 100% on Jones, guy? Just out of curiosity. What would it cost to get Crochet and Robert? Probably Jones and Dominguez and Warren and something else. You probably have to get them both. Yeah. Yeah, Spencer. Another thing with Groshette too, like he's converting um, from a reliever to a starter. I know there's concerns about his durability, but he's so far kept those at bay, staying healthy. So, but um, at some point, is he going to be on an innings restriction? Well, I have no idea. No idea. Could they move him back to long relief in the postseason? Yeah, probably. Right. So, um, yeah, I mean, like a guy like Nathan Eovaldi, a guy like Tarek Skubal, like we talked about this the other day in my roundtable. Those guys are already starters, established starters, and not a reliever converting into a starter. But Crochet has done extremely well so far. He had a slow start too, but he's done extremely well. Extremely well. Yeah, I'm telling you, McMahon and Chisholm Freds would change the whole dynamics of this team. The whole thing. So on the offensive side, you mean you're right. It's probably unlikely. It's very hard to deny. But you know, it. I haven't heard that Arias is a bigger talent than Jones. I haven't. There's no proof to back that up either. I haven't heard that. With Soto signing and Dominguez, the outfield set up. At the end of the day, Fritz, I think after this year, I think Alex Verdugo is going to walk, and most likely Jason Dominguez will be replacing him in left field. I think if he's here. So yeah, he's addressed him. He's been working on that a lot lately. His strikeouts rate has cut down a lot, and that was a big concern early in the season, guy. But like he grades higher than almost every metric, and Dominguez does. His potentials and his pace. He's got light tower power, Ellie De La Cruz speed. He's like almost Judge's size, which is crazy. So, but he's making the type of adjustments that Dominguez, because Dominguez had these same problems. Then he made adjustments and he took off, and Spencer Jones is making these adjustments now, and he's starting to take off again too. So, I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing from Jones. Tours, yeah, I mean, you could send tours anywhere, but I have a feeling that the most value you'll get is probably international money. I mean, and they were able to get, Clayton Beater for Joey Gallo. They were able to get international money for Billy McKinney. So, Gleyber Torres is a higher talent level than both of those guys. So I think they can get something for him. So, yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Dominguez's health profile. It's. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting concerned with that, and I don't want that to, you know, be a problem for the next several years. So I'm not really worried too much about the K rate. Look at Judge's K rate. Look at Stanton's K rate. Miami represents a good potential trade partner for the Yankees. I mean, they could really do something great with Miami, and we've got a lot of pieces they need. And they need, a shortstop. They need a catcher. We have both. We have tons of both. We can lead trade packages with those guys, and then add pitching to it if they need us to, right? So to me, he will improve that guy. He will improve that key rate. Yes, Albert. Yes, we do. We need Verdugo to step up. His offense kind of fell off. And again, a lot of this stuff. If you notice, a lot of the people's offense started to sputter when Giancarlo Stanton went down. Because then he started to play in different spots, right? Verdugo was moved to cleanup at 5, and he has no spot there. He's no business there, right? So, um, they started pitching around Soto. His on base percent, his batting average has not gone up, but his on base percentage is still high. They're walking him more often now. Soto, he's getting some hits, but they're walking him more because they can pitch around him, knowing that the guys behind Judge are not going to drive him in, and that's a problem. Which is why a guy like McMahon would be a good fit. And you add him at 4, Stanton comes back at 5, and that lineup is longer. It's a whole different look. It's a whole different look. Mhm. MLB, yeah, and that's not converting it to the MLB guy. Doesn't make any point to. But yeah, they do need to make moves, put him over the top. He Jones changed his whole offensive stance, his profile, his hip positioning and everything. So he's made some adjustments, and he's putting the ball in contact more often now, which is good. But I do expect him to. You're right. I do expect him to lower his K rate, which he has to do. It can't be one of these like 40 home runs, 200 strikeouts. Even though people would sign up for that, but at the end of the day, yeah, Tigers move Kenta Maeda to bullpen. No surprise. No surprise. Well, that's the thing, Bob. Right? Yeah, you can walk the bases loaded every first inning without fear because we don't have those guys at the 4 spot and the 5 spot right now to drive them in. If we had it, if we were the way we were, early in the season, it would be 4-0 Yankees instead of 4-0 the other team every first inning. And that's the key. That's the key. Yeah. I don't think Judge is going to be first base in knowing that. I think it's going to be Judge at right field. No, excuse me, in center field, most likely. And then after Stanton goes, I have a feeling this is what's going to happen, but I could be wrong. And once Stanton moves on, Judge is going to move to full time DH, and Spencer Jones will take over in the outfield. I think, right? Yeah, upgrades second and third, and yeah, yeah, and then we'll get upgrades back at the bench when Birdie comes back and some. Yeah, we'll have upgrades in the bench, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But Judge not yet. Judge not going to play first. Stanton is definitely missed. He was the offense was clicking, man, with him when he was in it, when he was healthy and hitting. The offense was clicking. So they didn't have to move guys up and down, and Stanton lasted longer than I thought, but this injury, he's already doing activities, but I don't expect him back until after the All-Star break. But if he comes back, we need him to be healthy. He's not always productive once he comes back from an injury. He stinks for about a week or two, and then he starts hitting. So hopefully that's not the problem. That's not the same thing again, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. So, but yeah, Stanton left a huge hole in this offense right now. Huge hole, right? By the way, smack that like button, gang. You don't mind. If anybody's in here not sub to the channel, please do that too. We're going to talk about, we are 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks away. We are 19 days away from the trade deadline. The trade deadline is July 30th. So, but it's going to come. It's going to come. So, yeah, but I'm telling you, he left a big hole. And it's why the people that were, trashing Stanton now miss Stanton, right? This is why I don't see the value in trashing players. It's pointless. Yeah, I hope Birdie can stay healthy too. That was a kind of a freak injury. But he's one of the fastest players in baseball. We need him back on the bases. We need him as a stolen base threat. And if you can add a Jazz Chisholm to him, you have guys wrecking havoc on the bases. And that's exactly what we need. We need guys that if they're at first and you hit a single, we need them at third, right? If you're at first and they hit a double, we need somebody to score instead of having the runners on second and third and the guy behind them striking out or popping up, right? Which happens way too often with the Yankees right now. Yeah, Ben Rice has been exciting to watch. Yeah. What happens if DJ we get McMahon? I think he goes to the bench and he becomes um, probably a roving utility player because he can back up first base and back up positions and so on and so forth. So I mean, if they ate money to trade, I wouldn't, be opposed to it. But I think he'll be the bench player. Yeah. TJ Rumfield. I mean, that's it. It's an option, but I wouldn't mess with Ben Rice right now, first base. He's playing well. So what I would do is I would keep Ben Rice at first base and move Augustin Ramirez up to catcher to platoon with Wells, and I would try to trade Trevino. That's what I would do. Stanton's going to be DH right now, bit Mitch. So that's not going to change until he's gone. But annoying rat, I agree with you. I think McMahon is the most important and impactful bat that they can get. Okay, Jazz is an upgrade at second base. A definite upgrade at second base. He's got like +6 or +7 defensive run saved. It's a clear upgrade. He brings speed. He brings swag. He brings attitude that's this team needs, right? But still, um, they need more than that. They need more than that. You know, it's got to be strategic on the offensive side. But at the end of the day, I do think it would probably be a good idea to add two relievers, and if you can add a starter, add a starter. I put out a stat yesterday. There was a graph or a metric. The Yankees lead the major leagues in runs scored by team. Surprisingly, I was surprised by that. I was very surprised by that, and which is nuts, but it's true. Luis Garcia from second base from National. Yeah, I mean the Nationals could be sellers. I mean, it looks like they're going to transition towards it, but I just don't know yet. I can't see them catching up to the Phillies and the Braves. Like I can't see them catching up to those guys. If acquired, no, I think they would move him to second base, John. Jazz Chisholm. It makes too much sense to not have him at second base. You got you know, yeah, I think he would. There's no like just like right now, if you call Jason Dominguez, he's going to be blocked in the outfield, right? Jazz Chisholm, if he came here, would be blocked in the outfield. So it makes more sense. We have a bigger need at second base than we do in the outfield. So, and I do think John, if Jazz Chisholm came here, would be the second baseman. Yeah. Mitch, it's a good question. I mean, they brought up Rice, right? I don't know why they haven't brought up like Jeter Downs or Yorbit Vivas for second base. One of our problems is we don't have enough depth at first base and third base, right? Rice is a converted catcher, which is one reason they're doing this. So their draft is next week, and honestly, like they need to draft a couple of corner outfielders and probably in the top 5 rounds, and they got to be from college. Okay, we are super deep at second base and shortstop, but very light at first base and third base in the farm. We need to get that up. Wells also doesn't play consistently, Mitch. He has to play consistently to bat better. He was a first round pick in 2020 from the Yankees. He was a much better hitter when he was playing regularly. So he definitely needs to play more. Wells. Yeah. Oh yeah. Corner infield is a dire need by his team. Well, third base specifically. And it looks like we might have found a piece. I don't know if he's the long term solution, Ben Rice, but we thought Greg Burr was a long term solution. Then he flamed out with injury. So I'm hoping that Ben Rice turns into a longer term building block. But we'll see. Yeah, the draft is Sunday. Starts Sunday. So it's right around the corner. The MLB draft. So we'll see what the Yankees do. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just Wells needs consistent time, man. He really does. He needs consistent time. Oh yeah. And I'm with you too, Mitch. The third base is a bigger need than second, but both are still. I think we need to see new faces at third base and second base. I think it would be a good idea to have new faces at both positions. I think it would be a great idea. So we'll see what they do. I mean, like, I can't wait for news to break so that I can come back and report some good news to all of you, right? That would be a really, really meaningful discussion to have. And I can't wait to share great news with you. Like I'm looking down, I'm like, what the hell are the Yankees doing? Are they making a move yet? And so on and so forth. Like, don't know. They haven't made any moves yet. So let's see here. Um, let's see what we're hearing. If there's anything that's popping up here. Um, mhm. No, nothing yet. Nothing yet. No. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, there's really no teams that are making big trades right now. The prices are too high, or they haven't been established, and then teams haven't decided whether they're going to be buyers or sellers. So that's going to cause a lot of slowdown in the trade deadline. CBS Sports is reporting that they're interested in Tommy Pham for what position? That's my question. I mean, why bring another corner or fourth outfielder here when you have Jason Dominguez, who once he gets healthy, people fans would be pretty pissed off. I think if they brought in um if they brought in Pham and left Dominguez out high to dry. So and then just when you think Grisham's worthless, he pulls that play like he did last night. He saved that lead for an awesome catch in center field. Like my God. So get Neris and Bellinger. I don't know if Neris is going to be traded. In all honesty, Rob. And trade Verdugo. I mean, kudos to outside the box thinking. I can't see Verdugo being traded, but you never know. Crazy things can happen. Yeah, but to me, McMahon is the big. He's the big offensive bat to get, in my opinion. You know, it's not a super duper star, but he's the big pat that could represent an area of need for the Yankees. And if you got Rengifo or Chisholm at second base, you know, it would be good. It would be a really good. That would be one hell of an offensive upgrade, lineup change for the Yankees, and then they can just focus on pitching because they do need pitching, right? Posting. Well, I don't know if they're not going to sit. I don't think they're going to sit Stanton for Tommy Pham unless Stanton's hurt, obviously. But that's an interesting one, Ken. I mean, that's an intriguing possibility. Tommy Pham. You know, anything at this point to upgrade the bench is a good idea. You know, Trapara. I mean, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think the Diamondbacks are gonna move Trapara. He's got 5 years of control left. I doubt it. Yeah, or Nick Birdie is slowly working back into rehab. Efrost is in the middle of a rehab, but having Birdie back and Efrost back will be a big boost to the bullpen. But they still need more reinforcements. So I still think they're going to bring in two names not named Nick Birdie, not named Scotty Frost. I think so. That's what I'm thinking. Um, Stanton's hurt. You got to bring up. Well, I mean, you could bring up Ramirez for DH, but you know, I mean, the problem is, what are you going to bring him up for a week or two and then send them back down when Stanton comes back? I don't know if that's enough. I mean, we got to give these guys a fair shot, right? So, and that's the other thing too. You have guys coming back from injury would make it harder to give prospects a fair shot at these positions. Why? Which is why it's so important that we get somebody at third base that's a building block, right? So Scott's not going to come cheap, but he's going to be a free agent, so he's not going to cost as much as Crochet. He's not going to cost as much as Ryan Helsley or any of those guys, but he'll cost a decent amount because he's really good. So, like I said the other day, if you can add a Nardi to it, that would be one hell of a trade because you'd have your win now guy, and then you have your other guy with controllable years. And the controllable years part is what's going to make it easier for them to put forth a big package for Juan Soto, right? That's the key. Priority number one is keeping Juan Soto here. So, yeah, yeah. Don't upgrade the bench. Bench of DJ Torres, Rizzo, Salem. Upgrade the starters. I mean, I have no problem with that, Rob. I think of those guys. I mean, Rizzo, obviously, I would have him and DJ on the bench because they would be mentors to some of the young kids. Torres, on the other hand, I would try to get some international money for him. I would try to move him on because he's I think he's just hurting the offensive flow here. And I do think he needs to play regularly to figure out a way to navigate back to normal. I just don't think there's enough time here with the Yankees. Flaherty's the guy that I'm. It's probably going to be considered from the Tigers, but Tarek Skubal is a better pitcher. I would try to get Skubal, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. Yeah, could you imagine that? I mean, I wouldn't. Rodon for Nolan Arenado would be crazy, Mitch. That would be nuts. Other teams will be bidding on Tanner Scott, like the Braves, the Phillies, and I have a feeling Garrett Crochet's probably going to go to the Dodgers or the Orioles. And the teams who don't get Crochet are going to come hard after Tanner Scott. So those are going to be the two big names. Tim King and Jordans. What's good, man? Kansas City for Benny. Oh yeah. TJ Sycamore. Yeah. I don't know, Gary. That's not in the Yankees' DNA to suck for 3 or 4 years. Like it suck that bad, it'll never happen. It'll never happen, man. Gary, I appreciate you. We always want to try to stay positive, man. You know, it's positivity and negativity have the same amount of letters. I'd rather you choose which pool you want to swim in. I'd rather swim in the positive pool. Hate and love have the same amount of letters, right? Friends, enemies have the same amount of letters. You choose which pool you want to swim in. I'll choose the positive pool all the time. And swimming in the positive pool does not mean you're ignoring reality either, despite what certain people say. And people that like to swim in the negative pool like to say that you're ignoring reality. Opinions don't change facts. So, yeah, Soto has one of the highest on base percentages in all of baseball every single year. Every single year. So, we have 100 million coming off the books at the end of this season, and then the next couple of years you have probably another 40 or 50 coming off the books because after next year, let's see, Hicks's money comes off the books. The year after that, DJ comes off the books. The year after that, Stanton comes off the books. Right there, that's like $50 million. So a lot of guys are coming off. Glasnow got put on the IL. I'm telling you again, Ken, this is why I have a feeling like the Dodgers are lurking at the trade deadline because of Glasnow and because Yamamoto is still on the IL. He's got a shoulder problem, and they're going to try to get an arm. So, and yeah, exactly, guy. Yankees are not tankers. They don't do that stuff. What's up, Agent Bill Stowe? Bill Stowe, what's happening, my man? What'd you say in another post? I didn't see. Did you post it yet? Yeah. Well, exactly. If they're gonna really suck, they got to trade. You might as well trade off Judge. You might as well trade off, Garrett Cole, which I can't see that happening. I really can't see that happening. Fans would revolt, absolutely revolt. Oh man, fans would be so pissed off. 2000, they finished the season. I think it was 4-16 in the last 20 games. Fans were going nuts. They still won the World Series, and that was Joe Torre's team with Jeter, with the core four, with Rivera, with Tino, all those guys on that team, right? Clemens, All those guys are on that team. David Justice, they hit that skid and they still won the World Series. So even the greatest Yankee teams have these skids. It happens. It happens. Yeah, I think this is minus 100. Yeah, I don't think they got a trade Judge. It doesn't make any sense though. So you have like 80 of his cars in Nicholas. Damn, dude. Could wind up being a good investment. It could. It could. Yamamoto, he's got a shoulder problem, so I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, you're right, Tim King. If the Yankees signed him and he got hurt, they would be all over Hal and Cashman, right? It's just the same recycled blame game. You know, they ask him to make moves, they make those moves, and when they don't work, they blame Hal and Cashman or boom. It's the same thing. And then they talk about accountability, yet they take zero ownership of the fact that they asked him to make these moves. So I don't find any of those arguments credible. That's why I don't waste my time with them. This is why I call them out. This is why I get a lot of trolls from other channels because of this stuff. So, but Mark, yeah, I mean, scuba would cost a lot. He doesn't cost that much. So, but the cost would be very high for scuba, Mark. Rob, yeah. You, there is no way you'll be able to keep. I doubt there's any way you can keep Dominguez or Roderick Harris with scuba. It might be Arias and Will Warren and so on and so forth. So it would cost a lot to get Scuba. But he would be that lockdown number 2 behind Cole in the postseason. And that's what the Yankees, thought they were getting in Rodon and haven't gotten yet. Right? So that's the other fact. You know, boy, that's the other thing too, Ken, right? Yeah, no trade clauses. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about Imanaga too, even last night, Jonathan. Like, I kept proposing him as an alternate to Yamamoto, and people kept telling me he gives up home runs. He's gonna give up a lot of home. He's better than He's having a sub 3 RA year. He shut out Corbin Burns yesterday in the Brewers. He's actually pretty good. Remember that guy? Yeah, it was the same. It was the same argument all the time. He's gonna give up a lot of home runs, a lot of home runs, a lot of home runs. Because who? Some beat writer said it. Right? Not saying Yamamoto hasn't been pretty decent so far because he has, but he's hurt. He's hurt. Yeah, I mean, I said this earlier, Mitch. I think Yamamoto. I'm not. I mean, excuse me. I think Imanaga is going to be the best Japanese pitcher this year in the majors, and I'm sticking with that. I'm sticking with it. I said that a couple times, right? Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. Exactly. I mean, we don't look, man. We don't. We're grown-ups here, right? We don't need to carry ourselves like children. That's why I avoid other channels too. So I don't trash people. I don't trash channels. We don't troll other channels. They love to come here, but they have nothing better to do with their lives. But I appreciate that, Mark. Yeah. Well, same thing. Yeah, Rob. I mean, you trade a lot for a lot. Like, it's to get value, you're going to have to give value in these trades. And unfortunately, a lot of teams ask more from the Yankees than they do other teams in trades. It just comes with the territory. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Right. But yeah, Ken, yeah, they begged for Snell. They begged for Monty. They begged for Yamamoto. Remember this stuff, Ken? We were going over this in the offseason. Yankees are cheap. He's a bum. All right? Yeah. We dodged a bullet with Snell. We dodged a bullet with Montgomery. Dodged a bullet with Yamamoto. So, like, you know what I mean? He's got great control. I mean, I would personally, I mean, if he became a lefty Maddox, he would be a damn Hall of Famer. He'd be Hall of Famer. Imagine that. He was a stud in Japan. He was pretty decent so far in the majors, but he's hurt. So, you're a stud when you're healthy. He's hurt. Who knows when he's going to come back? That's the other thing too. Guy, thank you. Welcome to the 161, my man. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family, my brother. Uh, but that's what we got. I mean, those are the trade proposals I want to share with you. Those are from directly from the Athletic, right? And yeah. Well, this is the other thing too, Mark. Right? They offered him 10 years, 300 million, and I'm guessing they're glad they didn't take it. I know people were pissed off. They should have paid him more than Cole. He's not better than Cole. Why would I pay him more than Cole? So, and Cole is our ace. He's our guy. So, he might have made it hard to re-sign Soto. He might have. And again, at the end of the day, and I think it was the right fit from Yamamoto to the Dodgers and Soto to the Yankees. Both teams got the guy that they wanted. They should have gotten, and the Dodgers got Otani too. Good for them, right? Yeah, I remember that too, John. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, for Luis Castillo, the Cincinnati Reds asked the Yankees for 1, 2, 3, and 4 prospects for Castillo. They didn't get 1, 2, 3, and 4 from Seattle. They got a good prospect package, but not 1, 2, 3, and 4. And at the time, 1, 2, 3, 4 was Volpe, Peraza, Dominguez, and Austin Wells. That was 1 through 4 from the Yankees. So, but the question too, has Castillo led Seattle to a World Series yet? He's been good, yeah. But he's led to the World Series? No. So, but I think we get, these teams like to play the Yankees a lot, man. It's unfortunate, but it's true. It's very true. No, but that, I mean, yeah, those are the trade polls I want to share with you. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel if you haven't done that yet. It's greatly appreciated. And again, welcome to the family, to the 161. And the Yankees tax is definitely, yes, it is. And they're also the only team over the Cohen tax right now, Cohen threshold. So you know, and JC, I don't know why that they haven't given Peraza like a legitimate shot. Let him go through the growing pains like they did with Volpe. I can't explain why. I have no idea, right? But I would ship Torres out at this point. Try to get whatever I can get for him. 52 likes, man. If anybody hasn't hit that like button, please do. Well, I always want to try to get to 100 likes if we can. I thank you for it. Play first base. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens when Rizzo comes back. Yeah, I'm really curious to see. He could be DHing. He could be, I mean, who knows? But Rizzo is going to be a great mentor, I think, to Rice. I don't think they're going to exercise the team option next year for Rizzo. I think he'll walk, but you know, we'll see. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, Bob. Yeah, you're right. Their computers, their analytics probably says no, right? So, and at the end of the day, some of these people are listening to these computers, right? Always a pleasure, Mark. It's always a pleasure if we make somebody's day, man. Thank you for your kind words, man. I think we can turn it around too. The Yankees do need to be proactive. They need to make the moves that's going to make it easier for them to turn it around, to make it possible for them to turn it around. They can't just sit around and expect it to. These guys can. I hopefully not in Florida just as a symbolic gesture, saying we're working on stuff. We need you to do stuff, right? And honestly, we need you to do stuff, right? If they got Scott and Chisholm, if they got me, like, there are players that you can get here that would not cost as much as Luis Robert, that would not cost as much as Garrett Crochet, that would not cost as much as Mason Miller, that can make the team better, right? And I think any move the Yankees make needs to be strategic, right? What do we need that's going to help us get past the Orioles or whatever other team that we might face in the playoffs, right? So and I think that's what's going to be probably their modus operandi after that, the deadline. I think so. Yeah, I mean, it looks like he is hitting a little bit. His average going up, his contact rate, but his power. I mean, he wasn't really known for his power. Like Chaparro was known for his power. He got freaking light tower power. So, I mean, Peraza was known for being an absolutely elite defender. There's no doubt about that. So, but yeah, I mean, Peraza, if you're gonna give him a shot or trade him, let somebody else give him a shot. The kid deserves a shot, right? So it's I don't know. No idea, G. It's a good question. Yeah, yeah. They need to operate. I mean, they need to run the bases more. They need to steal the bases more. The bases are bigger now. They're closer to each other. Look at Ronald Acuna. You went from like 30 to 70 last year. Like that's the impact that these stolen bases have, and they took advantage of it. The Braves. It'd be nice if Volpe took advantage of it. It'd be nice if John Birdie took advantage of it, and you get Jazz Chisholm here. I think he'll take advantage of it too. And all of a sudden, we'd have a bunch more guys stealing bases, which is what we need for the big bats to drive them in. I'd rather have 2-run shots and 3-run shots instead of solo home runs, right? So we'll see. I do think any move with Torres is likely going to be a trade. So yeah, you can bring Rizzo in as a coach. I think Rizzo would be a fantastic coach and a mentor. I think he would be, and we'll see. And we'll see if he retires from playing. I don't know, right? The double rate. Yeah, I mean, we need like this is why we need guys like Volpe and guys like Verdugo to be playing in more natural spots to them, so that they don't feel like they have to be Stanton. They don't feel like they have to be Judge, right? Because they're not. So and put them in a position to drive singles and doubles and so on and so forth. And we have more guys on base, then we have more dudes scoring, right? And at the end of the day, that's what we need. But we got to put the ball in play more. We need more playmakers. We need more table setters. All this stuff we need, right? So, but we'll see. But I will keep you updated no matter what happens. If something happens today, you'll get it today. If something happens overnight, you'll get it. I likely overnight or first thing in the morning. If I get an alert on my phone that wakes me up, I will get up and put out a video on it. Okay. So I'll make sure that you know no matter what. Is LA a possibility for Torres? I mean, he could be. I mean, you'd probably get. You might as well ask for Gavin Lux back. Yeah, Lux is considered relative like a bust for them, but maybe a change of scenery will do them both some good. Yeah, Rizzo, I think is 34, 35. But he's wise beyond his years. He's such a great teammate and a mentor. Like he would be a great coach, an instructor, and just a mentor. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Verdugo too. We need him. We need him to. I mean, continue to play good outfield defense, but we need him to be a little bit more contact oriented with the bat again. His batting average has fallen off significantly this season, so it has. But that's what I have for you, gang. So go enjoy your day. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. Welcome to the family, guy. Okay, to the 161. Have a great day. Peace and love to all of you. I always appreciate your comments, your feedback. We try to keep these live streams therapeutic, right? And doesn't mean people can't vent. People can vent, obviously. But I'll always say this: if we're gonna vent, let's vent on the right information, on facts and good information, because then it justifies the venting, right? So, but have a great day, everybody. Jonathan, my PMVI, my Prime Minister of Valuable Intel. That guy gives me all the good information, Jonathan. So thank you. You're always man. You're the man, dude. And again, thanks so much, everybody. Peace and love. See y'all later. Yeah.